Because it's important. It's very, very important. Why is it important that we honour strippers? Because pole comes from the strip clubs. Whether or not it has other influences and things and stuff that it's come from, originally the reason why pole studios came to be was because strippers started pole studios and taught the style of dance that is what pole dancers do today, most of the time, with some exceptions, okay? And the reason why it is important is because, to us as pole dancers, is because pole dancing is becoming an accepted hobby in the world. As a form of fitness, it's being called a sport, which is fine, but it is a form of dance originally, and that was its intended purpose. And so strippers are often stigmatised and mistreated, especially in their form of work, depending on where they work, that is, of course. And so here's how you can be an ally to strippers out in the world, okay? Whether you go to a strip club or you never go to a strip club. Number one, don't diss the job. If it's not for you, that's fine, but you don't need to make some judgments about it. Number two, if you know someone is a stripper, you don't go telling people that, because that might be a secret for them. They can tell people. Number three, if you ever go to a strip club, strippers don't earn money unless they are getting paid by tips or lap dances. They don't get paid an hourly rate. That door charge does not go to them. So if you go to a strip club, you've got to get some tip money out and be prepared to tip them, if not get a lap dance. And if you don't have any money, you're best not to be there. Just say hello and head off, okay? That's the better way to go about it. Also, when you are there, poles are for the dancers so that they can showcase who they are for people who might want to book them so that they can earn money. So poles are not there for people who know how to pole dance. Okay, so don't take off your shoes and get on that stage. It's not for you. You can go to the studio and do that, all right? Also, when you scream and shout at a competition or at a showcase, that's great, but in the club, that can turn boners off. So, try to keep your screaming and woohooing to a minimum and keep it to the sneaky comments when they come past and you give them a tip and tell them how amazing they are. Also, tricks often fly straight over those customers' heads. So most of the time they are dancing predominantly sensually. It's not about the tricks. It's not about how hard they're doing. It's not about how good is their technique. It's how they're showcasing who their stripper personality is. And so you don't need to be going on about what they're doing on the stage either. Just be impressed that they're there in the first place, being brave. Last thing, ask them what their name is there at the club, because if you know what their name is out of the club, that doesn't matter, and that nobody in that club needs to know what their real name is, because they are a fantasy, okay? So just ask them what their name is, what are you calling them today, so that you can play along with them, all right? Does that sound good? I think that was pretty succinct. Oh, anytime. Strippers are amongst us. You may be looking at one sometime right in front of you today. And so it's important to know that they are human beings who deserve human rights. They deserve respect. I love you. If you haven't been aware of it, there is a movement currently in New Zealand called the Fired Up Stilettos. Yes, which are a bunch of strippers that recently got fired from Calendar Girls via a Facebook post after they asked if they could get not as much percentage taken away from their earnings. It had gone from about half and half to about 60% taken away from what they were earning. And so, if you didn't know this, all strip clubs take in a percentage of what you earn. Some let you keep your cash tips, but some just take it away completely. The problem with the very big clubs is that they also threaten people with fines. They have contracts for their girls that actually have no legal standing, as it turns out, where they can fine people for things that are bad, like having a bad attitude. Sometimes it's for being late, or it's for, having a grievance. Oh dear, how dare they have a grievance? Appearance. Like, there's lots of different things that these big clubs justify fining people for, and it actually should not be allowed, but because stripping is not considered prostitution, and we really should get rid of that word because sex work is an umbrella term, we're getting to a point now with this movement that they are getting to Parliament. They've been inside Parliament, talking to real people in Parliament, fighting their case. They've been outside, they've been having multiple events, and this is the time to, not just for strippers themselves and sex workers, but for other independent contractors who are exploited, because there is a little grey area in there that means that they can be treated like crap because of the fact that nobody is actually policing them. So we need to get unions for these kinds of people. It just recently happened with Uber drivers, and it needs to happen with a few more of the trades as well. And actually sex work is one of those legal trades. So if you haven't followed 19 Fired Up Stilettos on Instagram, please go and follow them. Please support their events. Talk about it amongst people. Talk about how it is important to respect strippers and what they, even if it's something that you don't agree what they do. These are people who deserve human rights in their job. They deserve to have a break in their 10-hour shift. They deserve to be able to take sick leave and not be threatened. They deserve not to be abused in their work, and these are the kind of things that are happening at the moment unless something changes. Are you with me?